And welcome everyone to the Mechanics Institute. We are about to start round two of the 2020-2021 Pan American Intercollegiate Online Chess Championships. My name is Abel Talamantes. I'm the chess director of the Mechanics Institute. And with me, joining FIDE Master Paul Whitehead and Grandmaster Nick DeFermian, we have WIM Dr. Alexei Root. Thank you for coming on the broadcast with us.
My pleasure. I love the Mechanics Institute.
And you also are very, very familiar with this event because you're UT Dallas. And
Go Comets.
Is it the Comets? And we before we get to the round, we actually had an issue that would be nice to discuss for the fans, because if you look on the standings to the left, in Howard University, congrats to them for participating in this tournament. They got the bye in the first round.
Yeah.
So, hey, you take the points however you get them. But then you see Webster A and St. Louis University. But one team you won't see with 1 point after the first round, which is a bit of a surprise, is the University of Texas at Dallas A team. And the reason for that was that their board two player fell ill and then couldn't play the round. But by rule, Pan Am rule in this team event, if a player is unable to play and forfeits, the boards under that player also forfeit. And I think it was not realized that that would be the consequence. I don't know that it could have been avoided otherwise.
Why is that?
But that's
Why is
what
that
happened.
rule?
And so let me read the rule, and this is a rule specific to the Pan Am, and it has its rules. Thank you to all the TD team that looked this up. This was Brian Yang that pulled it up, National TD. Chapter 1, Rule 31B, if a player is missing from the lineup, lower rated teammates must move up to preserve the order by rating, so that if a team forfeits games, they are always on the highest numbered, lowest rated boards. Board assignments must always be made as described in the preceding paragraph. And ruling 1, the team with the missing player forfeits the board and all boards below it. The actual game result is reported to US Chess for rating purposes, but scored as a forfeit loss for the team event. So they play their games to completion, and for rating purposes, whatever the result was, that stands. But in terms of the team scoring aspect of it, it goes down as a forfeit loss for the team score. And I know this means a lot to you, Alexei, because you're at University of Texas at Dallas. I mean, what do you think of this? This is a very unfortunate situation. Of course, nobody wanted it to happen in this way. And I can't speak for the tournament directors. I don't know if this is still being debated, but it looks as it appears in terms of the team score. It goes down as a 3-1 loss for the team scoring for UT Dallas. Just what are your thoughts?
Well, it is unfortunate. However, Abel and I, you and I were talking a little before the broadcast started, and the good news is this is a 9-round tournament. And usually it's a 6-round tournament when it's played live over the board. So with 9 rounds, I think UT Dallas A has a chance to recover.
Sure.
So, thank goodness.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of, as we were talking beforehand, you were saying that even when you've had 6-round tournaments, a score of 5 out of 6 can, tie for first. So in a 9-round event, there's even more opportunity for that to happen. But that sort of appears to be sort of the controversy of the first round. If we look at that sheet, oops, messing this up. We're scrolling down. We see St. Louis, the Webster A and B, University of Missouri Team A, Texas Rio Grande, Texas Tech, So all the teams, the UC Berkeley team, the Team A, Princeton, Chicago, another Cal team, all these teams with 1 point, Stanford, UT Austin, Toronto, Yale, Harvard, the University of Iowa A team, UC Berkeley C, the Rio Grande Valley women team, the E team, the University of Missouri women with international master Olga Bedelka playing a fantastic game we were following in the first round. UTD, Georgia Tech, Caltech, all these teams with 1 point. And then we go down the line. So now we're approaching the start of round 2. The games get a little bit tighter. And the games shall have started. So let's get ready to follow some of those. Let me get out of this. Let me pull up chess.com.
While we're waiting, I was watching some of this Puzzle Rush stuff on the other Twitch channels.
Yeah.
Like Nakamura and Fallujah.
Yeah.
And Daniel Naroditsky, in particular, those three.
Oh yeah.
Puzzle and Rush. It's just unbelievable. The side of the board that these kids, or they're no longer kids, or Fallujah sort of is, it's amazing how quickly they see things. Of course, it's all, like as fast as you can go, but it's pretty remarkable stuff to watch.
All right, so let me go to the sheet and pull up the who's who and who's playing. And there's a pretty interesting match. Board 1, Webster Team A is playing Stanford. So let's follow that game. And I gotta do the command.
Is that Cameron Wheeler, the Caminator?
That is the Caminator, exactly. And hold on, let's see, GM.
Alexi, did you play in any of these events?
I was waiting for someone to ask me that question.
Yeah.
So I did not play on a university team, but in 1998, the Pan American was held in Dallas. And alongside it they used to hold side events. So there was a Pan Am Open and a Pan Am Scholastic. And cool. I tied for first with International Master Rade Milovanovic and National Master Rudy Tia in the Pan Am Open. And it was actually one of my 1998 Pan Am Open champion. And that gets listed in the yearbook in Chess Life. So it's actually one of my most notable chess accomplishments is tied for first in the Pan Am Open.
Sure.
Fantastic. Rudy Tia, huh?
Yeah, it was a 3-way tie for first. So I never did play as a college student, but I obviously visited that tournament in 98, and I've traveled with the UT Dallas team and been on the sidelines. And in fact, the last one I went to was in San Francisco. I came in 2018 and got to watch the Pan Am over the board in San Francisco.
That's right. In Burlingame. So what do we think of this one right here? This is Lazaro Bruzon Batista. It looks like the unknown IM, but it's actually Bryce Tiguan for Stanford.
Oh, wow. So we already have GM versus IM. Yeah. And do we know what teams they're on?
So Lazaro is representing Webster's A team and Bryce Tiguan Stanford.
Oh, wow.
And let me change the board orientation. You'll see that shortly.
It's funny because back in I guess before the scholarship age of chess, the chess teams with the strongest players would be the sort of the traditional Ivy League colleges and stuff like that.
That has changed, although they're still representing strong. the Ivy Leagues. Princeton, they got GMs, IMs.
Well, Harvard in 2018, Harvard, led by Darwin Yang, qualified for the Final Four.
That's right. And didn't they finish
Yeah.
like third or something in the in a
And that's
program?
without a chess scholarship program, huh?
That's correct. So
That's
it's still
that's
possible.
really terrific.
Yeah,
Oh, the game has changed, or maybe it's just the orientation changed.
The orientation changed.
Yes. Okay.
So
It's somehow chess is a little like the other sports where you have colleges with your practically pro teams, and so it's hard for the traditional colleges to compete with them. Like in football or basketball, those guys could just be pros, a lot of them. And in chess, well, when you have Bruzon Batista, I mean, he's like the former top 10.
that's that is an advantage, no doubt.
Yeah, this guy was Cuban's top player before Dominguez, right?
All right. Well, let's. What do we think of the action here?
Is this we're talking about the Batista game?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're still kind of in openings. That's
like
it.
developing, right?
Right. I guess the white queen could end up at h4 too.
Black just wants to hold the center, that pawn on c5. And the knights have good squares.
And moving on to this game, this is Grandmaster Andrew Tang. He is playing Armand Baradaran from UC Berkeley. So this is a matchup of Princeton versus UC Berkeley.
A?
UC Berkeley C versus Princeton A.
Uh-huh.
It's so great that Berkeley has 3 teams
So many
in this
teams, I
tournament.
know,
I
it's
don't
pretty
think they've
exciting.
ever had that many teams.
They
in
have
a Pan Am.
5 teams, Alexi.
Yeah.
They have 5 teams. Well, then they've definitely never had 5 teams in a Pan Am before. Good for them.
And this is another game from a UC Berkeley team. This is, it says FM, but I know he's an IM. That's IM Ladia Jurasic playing. And we're flipping over to this game with Benjamin Bach, Grandmaster. This against Fish Perfect.
Yeah, a Najdorf, a bishop e3 variation. It's kind of known. White has this c6 square for the knight, but black has sort of solved things on the king side where it's hard for white to get an attack with the black piece.
Who would you rather be here, Nick?
I always played the black side. That was you want to do queen c7, rook c8, knight 6. You have to somehow get rid of that strong white knight that's landing on c6. If you can do that, you're fine.
And this is a matchup of St. Louis University A team, which Benjamin plays for.
So Cora PM has a question for you, Abel.
Checking that. Oh, yeah. So the reason for this is, as I'm going through the games, we have a 45-second delay on the broadcast. So there are times I'm flipping through games, I'll notice something, I'll talk about it, but I realize that on the Twitch screen, it hasn't caught up yet. So so forgive me for that, but I'm going to try to make it so that it matches where we are on the Twitch. But for right now, we are at Benjamin Bach for St. Louis, playing
Fish Perfect.
Irina Utiatskaya from University of Missouri Women. the women's team.
I love these women's team. And Alexi, do you know the Rio Grande Valley women's team? That name sounds intriguing. It's your area. Have you heard of that?
Well, I know that Texas Tech has had a women's team for a while, and I'm assuming UT Rio Grande Valley, from what you're saying, has a women's team this year. And I mean, technically it's from my area, but Brownsville is at the southern tip of Texas, and Dallas is much closer to the Oklahoma border at the north of Texas. So I think it's something like a 9-hour car ride from Dallas
wow.
to Brownsville.
That's far.
It's a big state.
Yeah.
Big area.
Well,
and in a second, we'll be peeking at Andrew Tang's game, and we'll stay on that for a little bit.
And I was going to say also, though, you have to realize that women have played on championship teams. So this whole movement toward a separate team is something new. For example, can you name 3 U.S. women's champions that have played on winning top 4 Pan Am teams?
It were U.S. women's champions?
That played on college chess teams and then later became U.S. women's champions. In one case, on the championship team, and in the other case, on a team that finished second that year.
And I'm going to let Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was going to say, Alexi, what do you think of the separate teams for women and men?
Well, that's what I wanted to get to. So you want to answer the trivia question, or should I just tell you the answer?
Can we make one guess? So I say,
sure, yeah, make some guesses.
Well, let's see. I won't guess Arena Crush, but let's see. Was it Alina Lieberman? She became women's champion. Okay, I give up. I don't know if she was on a winning Pan Am team, but you're going to get a kick out of this, Nick, because I think you know this player. So Yale University in the 1980s won the Pan Am, and their first board was Joel Benjamin. And their fourth board that year was Ina Israelov.
Oh.
And she's now Ina Koren. But so she later became a U.S. women's champion. So she played fourth board for Yale, and Yale won the championship. But more recently, like this in the era of scholarships, UMBC finished second, and 2 of the 4 players were women. Can you name the 2 women on the UMBC team that later became U.S. women's champions?
Anna Zatonska?
Can't do it. Sorry.
No, sorry, Nick. It was Sabina Foiger and Nazi Pakitsky. Both played the same year for UMBC, and that year UMBC finished second to Webster. So I think that shows that women have always been a part of the top teams, the top winning teams. So I'm not 100% sure whether it's necessary to have special prizes for all women teams. On the other hand, it might encourage universities to give more scholarships to female chess players.
And here we're looking at this game between International Master Ruifeng Li from the University of Texas at Austin against,
it's like a debate that will never end.
Nadia Salak from Texas Tech C team. What do you guys think of this position?
Well, it was nice to get in that F4 break, but
it does give up the E4 square.
Gives up the E4 square, and maybe knight to E6 kind of. Well, that's a pawn sacrifice. Gets white squares. Probably black's fine. It's there's counterplay for black.
And Ruifeng Li is from the Dallas area, but I guess he chose to go to school at UT Austin.
Yeah.
Well, I
His
liked
little
your
sister
trivia.
Rachel Lee is the top 10-year-old in the country almost.
I liked your trivia questions, Alexi. So maybe you should host Jeopardy now that there's a vacant spot.
Chess.
We should have a chess Jeopardy. Yeah.
Chess Jeopardy, yeah. Get Alexi and some people that are real historians. John Donaldson. Yeah.
Oh, he loves stumping everyone with good chess.
And then we can have lifelines to people that know nothing about chess.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But to be very honest, the only reason I knew this is I'm researching for a possible book about U.S. women's chess champions.
Oh,
so
very cool.
While I was doing that research, I came across that, and I'm like, I will just drop that on my co-host at the Pan Am.
So you must know Batgirl, right?
I know her work, and her real name is Sarah Beth Cohen.
Right. But I mean, she's a historian of women's chess. There's all this stuff about her.
And taking a look
absolutely.
Taking a look at this game here between Ashritha Eswaran from UC Berkeley against Channin Tangtharakul from University of California, San Diego.
And speaking of the U.S. women's, Ashritha has played in the U.S. women's. She hasn't won it yet, but she has competed in it.
For a couple of years, right? A couple years?
Yeah, for a couple of years.
And she is captaining one of the UC Berkeley teams. And in this case, I believe it is Team B. Yep, UC Berkeley Team B.
Wow. Black is playing a solid game.
Yeah, so far all the games you showed us, Abel, are really close. We haven't, sometimes when I help out on the Tuesday night marathon, we see some wipeouts.
Let's see some wipeouts.
We haven't seen any wipeouts yet. What happened?
Let me see. Well, this not quite.
Maybe not in college chess. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they're happening somewhere. There's just so many games to look
that's true. So many games.
That's sort of the issue here. And especially with this time control with the G25 plus 5, it's there's not actually a whole lot of time.
There's the added responsibility that they're not just, if they're blowing a game, they're also blowing it for the team. So they're trying to be careful.
Yeah, and especially in a such a faster format. I mean, there's so many things that can go haywire, especially if you're in. I mean, we saw a bunch of games that we were down to a couple of minutes, and just things were going crazy. And we're going to see a lot more of that, especially as the winning teams start to face each other.
That's something that I missed. I missed was playing chess for a team. Sitting next to teammates in a room and playing on a team versus another. I think I would have enjoyed that a lot. And
it's actually
surprising
experience. It doesn't happen more often to me.
I mean, Nick went through it, of course, with the American Olympiad team. And I always felt like every chess player was my enemy. So it must be nice to think of them as your friends,
true competitor.
Yeah.
Team events are fun that way.
I have to say that, in my research, I get to look back through back issues of Chess Life, and I saw an issue, Paul, where both you and your brother Jay were in the U.S. Junior Championship, and you tied for first, a three-way tie for first in that U.S. Junior. So at least you had your brother in the competition with you.
Yeah, but he was not a friendly rival,
Okay.
It's actually true that my brother and I got paired together many times by malicious tournament directors who just wanted to see the blood flow between us. And
here we have this game between Grandmaster Alexander Ipatov and women's Grandmaster. The name will be a challenge, Gulrukbin
Tokarjova.
Tokarjova. And this is, I believe, St. Louis University against the University of Missouri women.
I'm guessing that she's from Mongolia, but I could be wrong.
Or Mongolian heritage.
Yeah, Mongolian heritage. And
We had-
Ipatov, that sounds pretty Russian to me.
What
but-
do you think of the game?
Black is probably fine, can probably just expand on the queen side with c4 and b5. It's about even.
Hey, Nick and Paul, I have a question for you. How did that black king arrive at f8?
Oh yeah, I just noticed that myself. It's funny square for it, huh?
I'm guessing it took a bishop on f8.
Yeah, I'm just trying to imagine how that happened. Maybe there was a white bishop on d6 or something that traded for a bishop on f8.
That's actually a nice
Yeah.
trivia.
Yeah, that's funny how that did happen.
Well, that was good by Ipatov. He's kept the position open and now looking to blast open the C file.
Very much blasting it open, yeah.
Or getting the D4 square.
Right, if they play c4. Oh, there goes the king back to its normal square.
Oh, I was looking at pawn D4 and then something like rook E2 and bishop F3. The players move so fast now.
Yeah, well, they have to. But going back to that women's question, right now we have no women on the chess team at UT Dallas. So perhaps if this whole women's team catches on as a big deal, then maybe we'll start offering some scholarships to women players at UT Dallas. But back in the old days, we had Kozinteva on our top team. So we've had women players. They've just been strong enough to be on the team on their own.
I've heard of this player named Beth Harmon. Have you heard of her?
Yeah, right.
She's thinking of
She could
joining.
be on the team on her own. Yeah.
You haven't noticed any uptick in interest of women's chess since the Queen's Gambit, have you?
Well, I hear the same anecdotes that everyone does about how chess set sales have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
But, we're all in our online bubble. So I think it's hard to assess what'll happen when we go back to over the board. And I know you and Sam Shanklin were talking about that toward the end of the last broadcast.
So what do you think of this game here? This is white Grandmaster Mateus Bartel, and that is University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley against National Master Andrew Titus playing for Georgia Tech.
Looks like Black's in some kind of trouble here, but...
Yeah, I was going to say that too, although I have to admit I was also biased by, GM versus National Master, but I also think that, that pawn on E5 and that now the pawn on G5, it's looking kind of dicey for Black. Like Black might get mated on H7 or something. Queen
Yes,
H5, Queen takes
Queen
H7.
Queen H5, Black has to play pawn to H6 and try to go for a queen trade.
Yeah, and it turns out to be a pretty nice move. Huh.
Nice defense by Titus.
One thing
that all actually happened. I'm still waiting to see Queen H5 appear on the board. I was just predicting.
Yeah, Black seems to be okay. Like Queen D4, maybe Rook F to D8 and avoid checkmate. White's still got to get the pawn back.
So Queen H5, H6.
And then there's no easy follow-up.
Could you just take on H6? Queens come off.
Yes, pawn to G6. But Black seems fine.
Uh-huh.
pawn to g6, the rook will have to move, and you get the rook to the d file. That's and then that h pawn can actually become weak on h6 or 7.
Right. A nice plan.
And then we're moved on to this game with Grandmaster Alexander Lenderman representing Webster University against Noah Fields from Stanford.
This is interesting because they're both castled on the queen side, and there's so much. Or are they both castled on the queen side? Maybe the black king just walked over there. But in any case, the kings are both on the c file, and there's so much action going on the queen side.
And Noah's rating is actually over 1900. Still at a rating disadvantage against Lenderman, but his rating is not quite 1400, 1494.
Oh, it's only 800 points difference.
It's a mere 800 different.
Well, this is,
and of course, Alex Lenderman has played in your Mechanics Institute tournaments.
Yeah, and as we were saying in the earlier show, he had to skip a mechanics tournament, the John Donaldson Championship, in order to play the Armageddon against Christopher Yu to qualify for this year's U.S. Championship. So how is Black looking here?
Your Black must be a little better. At least that white knight can jump into d5, but that the dark squared bishop is a nice plus for Black.
Yep.
So Abel, we haven't looked at any UT Dallas games yet.
That's deliberate. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, this is what happens when you get partisanship. Come on.
Okay.
They hold you accountable. So let's see. I'm scrolling down the list here trying to find we were following Rui Feng Lee's game. Oh no, he's Austin. He's Austin.
Wow.
He's from Dallas, the city, but he went to UT Austin. So I'm looking for actual UT Dallas games.
So how far back does the U.S. Women's Championship go, Alexi?
The first one was in 1937.
Interesting.
But it wasn't held annually. It was held more like every, 1 to 3 years sporadically. So there's between 1937 and 2020, there's been 60 championships and 29 different champions.
Only 29.
Yes, because some of them, like Irina Krush, just keep winning it over and over. So out of the 60 championships held, there are not 60 different champions, which is good in terms of researching and writing a book. Less work.
And we're going to be flipping to our first UT Dallas game of the round here. And when we make that transition, it's going to be International Master Guillermo Vasquez. And they are playing Howard University, and this is Malcolm Wooten.
Wow, a lot of action here.
Yeah, this is a really interesting position.
Whoa.
White has to be better. Even pawn takes knight, rook takes f5, g5. Even if you get two
Black
pawns.
might just be kind of losing here.
And giving a special shout out to Judith Starre, who is in the chat making fun of me for something, I'm sure. And they are working like crazy behind the scenes. Nobody really has any idea unless you've been a part of it and seen it. Thank you to her and to Glenn Panner, Chief Tournament Director, and Brian Yang. and all the amazing TDs that are behind the scene making all of this happen. Double checking everything, making updates and corrections. It's a nonstop job. They're doing a lot of work, and just without their meticulous attention to detail, things would not be as smooth as they appear. And that's the thing. I mean, they're so smooth, it looks like everything is fine, but it was nonstop organization and work. So just a quick thank you and shout out to them.
Hey, that was in this position that queen takes g5. That was
Crushing.
something kind of exciting there.
Just crushing.
Nice finish.
And it looks like UTD is going to be
Up 2 exchanges.
on the road here.
Go UTD, go Comets.
The comments. All right, let's check in on this game here, and let me pick a game here. Maybe a player that we haven't seen yet, and that is White.
And Abel, how's Berkeley doing here with in these games?
They're doing fine so far. I think all the teams won their first match. I have to double check the fifth.
Has it ever happened that an A team had to play a B team for first place? Directly
Yes.
for first place?
Yes.
Yeah.
Webster A and Webster B have had to play for first. I know it.
Yep. You
But
can't
again,
have-
that's in the 6th round in-person tournaments.
What a tragedy
So-
for all concerned. Yeah.
But this 9-round tournament, it seems like there would be even more chance, although Judith could probably correct me, but wouldn't there be more chances for teams to have to play amongst themselves? Like if you have the very top teams
Yeah, well, you would
pulling
think,
away.
you would think so, just because
Yeah.
of there's more opportunities, there's more
Yeah,
rounds.
but with tie breaks and everything, by the time the 8th round comes around, we probably would already have a clear first winner.
And this,
Right,
this-
but you
Yeah.
might have a situation in going into the last round where, for example, Webster A and Webster B are the only ones with a certain amount of points, and they'd have to play each other.
so looking
That's
at
true.
looking
That's
at this
true.
looking
Yeah.
at this game, this is Webster Team B's Grandmaster Emilio Cordova against University of Toronto and Stolen Candy 13.
With a higher rating than the Grandmaster, who probably hasn't played too many games on chess.com.
Yeah, Emilio Cordova is rated 2655, and Zen Nasir is 2170.
Yeah.
But Black seems to be
Massive
doing
rating
okay.
differences.
Except for the clock, it looks okay. I mean, you could swap knights, defend with bishop g7. Bishop on d5 is on a really solid square. So
Yeah. You know, I do well by agreeing with most of the things that Nick says.
well, I appreciate it, Paul, even when I'm wrong.
But when he's wrong, you could just say, well, why
Yeah.
why didn't Nick see it then? Right? Just pass it off.
Well, I mean, the trait of the Grandmaster, Alexei, and that I've observed is that they withhold judgment far longer than the weaker player does.
Yeah, but I figure it's okay to jump in and just say something. And even if you're wrong, the Twitch viewers will appreciate it and be like, oh, I know more than the commentator. I feel smart now. So, kind of like in a simul, you want to play all the simul games really fast to give the people a chance. So I'm not too afraid to jump in and be wrong and let Nick correct me. It's okay with me. I can handle
Oh
it.
no, I absolutely, but
And back to one of the top games with Webster A. This is Lazaro Bruzon Batista against Bryce Tiglon of Stanford, who is black.
Which we looked at this game before, so now we
Yeah.
get to see what has happened.
well, this is a sharp one.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nick, about that F4 move? Because I mean, it gives up the E3 square a little bit, but I guess it's going for F5 and pressure on G6.
Yes, because it is double edged. You do loosen yourself there, but yeah, when F5 coming, it's prying things open. And if pawn to E6, you go pawn to F5 anyway to get in knight D6 check. So what do you do here is a good question.
Yeah, black needs a good move.
Well, can black just go ahead and like throw in knight E3 and take the B pawn as, you know, after bishop takes E3, D takes E3, bishop takes B2? Would that be something possible, or is that just dumb?
Well, white gets a move to play F5.
Yeah, knight E3.
After knight E3? Wait, whose move is it? Am I confused?
It's black's.
I thought it was black. Okay, so I'm saying knight E3.
Bishop takes
Oh, I see what you're saying.
E3,
F5. They get a move to play F5. Okay.
F5 and let black take the pawn on B2.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah, I don't really. That's scary. The G6. That's scary to be attacked on G6 like that.
But still, maybe that's right because you'll lose the pawn on G6. But something bishop comes back to F6.
Oh, we moved to a UTD game.
So you were familiar with the play, yeah? Omar Reshev.
Yeah, I know him from UTD.
Yep. UT Dallas B team playing Jason Zhu from Harvard University.
So Omar is one of our players that are originally from Israel.
Has he taken any of your classes?
He has not. If Emil Stefanov is playing, he just finished taking one of my classes. He's originally from Bulgaria, but I didn't check to see which team he was on. But yeah, it's always exciting when chess team members take my course.
What is your course, Alexi? Tell us.
Actually, I teach two courses. One is about using chess in the classroom, like writing lesson plans that include chess and educational goals. And the other course, they have a choice of either designing a chess program for an institution or writing about issues in chess, like cheating in chess, women in chess, all sorts of issues.
Very cool.
Yeah, they're super fun.
It's part of the educational program at UT.
UT Dallas, yes, they're each 3-credit courses. So it counts as a regular college class, for a grade and everything. And actually, almost all of my students are not chess players. That's why it's exciting when a chess team member, oh my gosh, you found Emil's game, when a chess team member is in the course. So Emil just took one of my courses. And let's see how he's doing.
And he plays on the same team as Omar.
Okay.
So this is UT Dallas against Harvard.
Okay. Well, this is an interesting position that Emil is in right now.
So
as black.
What is the push in getting more of these kinds of courses in American universities? I mean, we've got a handful of Southern universities that are doing it in Texas and St. Louis, but where else is this happening, or could this happen?
Well, let me answer that. So Jack Peters, who's an international master in the Los Angeles area, he actually teaches, I teach 2 courses at UT Dallas. He teaches 3 courses at USC about chess.
Huh.
So, yeah.
I did not know that.
USC has a team in this tournament, or at least did in the pre-registration list.
Yes, they have one team.
Yeah, so Jack is usually the faculty advisor for that. but he says he hasn't done as much with the pandemic, but he used to always be more active. So, hey, everyone, I wanted your opinion on Emil's game, but that's okay. We've moved on.
And this is another UT Dallas with David Brodsky against, this team's playing Caltech with Tony Kukovica.
Well, White's got
This
a
looks
nice
pretty good for
queen
White. Yeah,
four move.
looks good for White.
Look at
That black queen is sort of out of play.
what
compared
about
to the
queen
white
takes
queen.
d4, Nick?
Yeah, well, H7 is also attacked. So
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
first
This is
things
looking good for
first.
White.
But
I'm looking at
on
this
to
fancy move, and then there's mate on the board practically.
Yeah,
something like
queen takes
pawn to
H7 looks pretty
H6,
strong.
queen takes D4, queen takes A4.
But wait a minute, it's White's move.
Yeah, queen takes H7 looks pretty strong, right? I don't know
Oh
why
my
White's thinking
God.
so long. Oh, now that White did it.
Well, that was a
Yeah,
little
this
too
looks-
easy.
This looks
What was
pretty
it?
easy.
Well, Black's running away, hoping to fight another day, but it
I
looks
doubt
very
it.
bad for. Although you never can tell.
I'll put money on White, and not just because they're from UTD.
Even though they're UTD, you make sound bets, right? You want to make sound bets.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty bad.
Let's take a look at some of the local lads like Ladia Jurasek and
Actually, we're about to.
Isaiah Stearman.
It's actually not one of those, but we are going to switch to a UC Berkeley team with a player that has played at the Mechanics Institute. It'll be popping up in a bit, and it's a game between National Master Arman Baradaran from here in the local area, now UC Berkeley student, playing Grandmaster Andrew Tang. And here is the game.
Yeah, and someone in the chat wanted to follow Andrew Tang's game, so I guess we're making that person happy.
Yeah, from earlier on, and it looks like Arman is down a piece, but the bishops look good and the rooks are looking active. But can he make anything of this?
Well, can the Black Queen move?
It can go to B5. White bishop goes to E2. The only safe square is A4. We might see a draw.
Oh,
There's also
repetition.
Queen takes E7 here.
No, it looks like Nick may have called it with the repetition.
Yeah, because if Queen E7, Rook E8. Huh. Well, that's an honorable result, right?
Against a GM, sure.
Now, I wonder if the queen goes back to A4. Do you get greedy and go queen takes E7, play for the win?
When you're down on time.
Yeah, to 2 minutes.
I agree
take the
that
draw.
White's position looks better.
Right?
But
Because-
2 minutes left against the GM.
Much better.
And the E7's hanging also. The bishop.
I would do it because you have to play. It's what chess is all about. Is sometimes jumping in.
Well, in the team tournament aspect also, this would be a huge win for the UC Berkeley team because this is not a half point that they thought they would have, right? Given the pre-matchup.
I think White should definitely go for the repetition because that is really, really low on time.
I say take the bishop on E7 and go down in a blaze of glory.
Is there any? Would
I would say
would
that-
Andrew be thinking? All right. No, right? It's like you just
I
have to
think
rely on your teammates.
Black looks worse after Queen takes E7, but I mean, White has the two bishops. The queen is still in a weird spot. I guess Queen takes A3.
I can't
then
believe it.
rook to A1,
Yeah.
queen to B3. And what can you do with that tempo?
Maybe even bishop to B2.
So hey,
Oh,
Abel, you're a
yes.
TD.
Yes.
Is the chess.com mechanism going to automatically call it as a 3-time repetition?
Oh yeah, it does. It'll do it on its own.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, the computers are taking over, Nick.
Oh wow.
Oh, look at this.
Oh wow.
Andrew Tang. What is he
Queen
doing?
C6. What?
He's playing for time.
Okay, so rook C6, bishop C6, queen E7, rook E8, and
The back rank mate.
back rank mate. But that's,
Yeah, he's hoping. I guess he's hoping White falls into that.
I mean, even if White fell into it, White would still be better. Like White could just play F3 and King F2.
White could play Bishop F3 here, right? Yay! I called it Bishop F3.
It's
But-
objectively winning for White.
Yeah, this is black.
I
black.
guess the GM is just playing for time. You know.
Trying for the swindle. This is where you get the opportunity to beat a grandmaster, because they'll take a risk like this and then you can nail them.
Unless
Yeah, I mean, White was obviously happy with the repetition, and then Black has just gone nuts here.
Well, I mean,
Paul, what's good is both you and Alexei were right. You know, Alexei said, take the repetition. You said play on.
right, and yet the other person played on that I thought should play on. It's interesting.
yeah, this is a grandmaster relying that I'm putting myself at a disadvantage to play on, and I still think I'm going to win, or that I'll find a way, right?
You know, it'll be really sad if White loses this. I think if I were
I'm
White, I'd have to go
White
cry
to
about
win
it.
because it's a chess.
Yeah, I think White should win this.
It's a chess question rather than a
But you got to think of the team aspect of this too. So you're also looking at what's happening in the other games with your teammates, right?
But
And
no,
Richard
wait
Hack
a
is
minute,
trying
wait
to
a minute.
get
They don't
Richard
really
Hack-
have time to do that, do they? Do they have really time to look at the other games?
No, they
Or
don't.
is that even allowed?
No,
I mean, aren't they
but
busy looking at their own game?
their own game? But you have to be thinking that my
Yeah, but do they
scores-
know what's going on?
Look
in
at
the
this
other games?
brilliancy. Look at this crazy game.
And I wanted to come to this game just to take a look at it. This is Bryce Tiglon for Stanford as Black against Grandmaster Bruzon Batista.
Wild and crazy.
Yeah.
This
So
is
queen
really
E6,
weird.
got king C7. White's probably looking for a clean win here, but Black has this bishop H2 check move. Yikes.
So if we go queen E6 check, king to C7, knight A check, you probably can't take that knight, and you'd have to go king B6.
Wow.
Maybe he's okay.
That is a wild line for sure. And
Yeah, it's really
Richard
low.
Hack is trying to get us checkmated in the other game.
Why
I
didn't
see
you
that.
take on E7?
Yeah.
And we'll get back to that game in a second. This is just
Oh, bishop C6 is a nice move, Nick, I think.
Taking out the defender.
Yeah, and allowing the king to come up to G2.
Yes.
Cold-blooded move. It looks really strong, though.
And Paul, I think your prediction of King G2 has just happened.
So
Well-
maybe it's time for Black to just resign.
Okay, so let's before we resign, let's take on C6.
Wait a minute, Nick. Yeah.
No, that would get checkmated. No. Queen E6 check, King C7, Queen E7
Hey,
check.
Nick, you need to be more specific. Which way are you taking on C6? There's 3 ways to take on C6.
Yes, and they all get checkmated, I think, to Queen E6 check, King C7, Queen to E7 check.
No,
Yeah,
what if you
it's
took with a
just-
pawn? What if you took with a pawn? Then you're not mated, right? Because you
And-
go to C7, B6, A5 and stuff. Well,
and
never mind. You played something
B4
different.
was made at the end of that.
Oh, it is? Okay, well, that's why you played something different, I guess.
Bryce
Black to-
Teklon down to 10 seconds left. Hey,
Queen
Manas.
E5 is the only move to hold on for a minute.
But Knight E4 check stops the mate, it stops G3.
Yeah,
But-
that looks pretty
Yeah.
unpleasant for black.
I think White's just looking for the quickest way here, maybe. There's Nick's Knight E4 check.
Okay, you're still hoping in team chess, even when you know you're lost, you play the desperate moves, you hope, you feel justified because you're playing for your teammates.
Well, also, you don't have to suffer that long. It's a fast time control.
So if something like bishop takes B7, is there any hope?
Like with bishop to G1 or something like that.
Yeah. Rook takes C8, rook takes C8, bishop G1. Doomed to fail, but
And
give it a
and we're gonna switch momentarily to the conclusion of this game between Andrew Tang and Arman Baradaran.
Oh no. Oh.
Oh no, yeah, I agree. What happened? We had a queen ahead.
Oh.
That was it. Unfortunate.
Well,
Very
we'll have to.
unfortunate.
Hey, Nick, are you going to be analyzing all these games for the newsletter, like all 100 of them?
Well, I'll do some of them.
He's gonna
You
say
should do.
no.
You should do this one.
Yes. It was psychologically and team-wise very interesting.
Yeah, and you know, what did you think of Queen C6, Nick?
Well, how do you argue with success? It won.
Right.
Objectively lost.
Would
But,
you have played it?
I hope I would have been courageous enough.
It's interesting.
I mean, he knew he was much worse or lost, but he just did it.
Right.
And he had confidence in his
in your
own skill.
abilities.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a question in the chat. Can we see what happened? So all these games, Abel, are on chess.com. Is there like an easy way for people in the chat to find the games? Should they just look for the person's username and history, or how can they look for them?
That would be the easiest way. And what you can actually do. Actually, let me just put up the link, because I think people can pull up. But the easiest thing to do is to look up that player, and it's going to be in their game history. That actually be
That's what I was thinking.
The easiest thing to do. So just check it out. I kind of want to move on with the game, so I don't want to. There's just not enough time to go back and see exactly, because we had been covering that game for a while.
Lots of great stuff going on in the other games.
But we have this game here between Ashrita Iswaran for UC Berkeley B. And how is this looking? Because it looks like...
Yeah, this just wins. Rook takes F5 is... yeah, rook takes F5 is... And rook takes Queen H8 check, check. Not quite, mate. Maybe you should have gone rook F5 first.
Wait a minute, on rook f6, just rook e8 check, right?
Yes, or queen c5 check. It's good. Yeah, rook e8 check's the killer.
Rook takes
e8
e8,
check's
queen
really
takes
pretty,
f6.
Paul. Nicely done.
Is Ilya Nizhnik playing?
Good question, actually. Let me look.
And is he playing in the U.S. Championship coming up?
That I don't know. I
don't think Ilya is.
I don't think he is, and I don't think he's playing. Actually,
I thought he had graduated from Webster.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't notice him at all on the lineup.
It's like asking if Jim Tarjan is playing.
Yeah. So here's this game between Ben. Yeah.
They're down to seconds.
Right. So we
should stay on this.
Oh yeah, sorry about that, Bali. Yeah.
Wow.
But Ilya is not playing.
I think he's graduated. Yeah. So let's see.
Sorry about that.
Whoa! Suddenly, Black
has an attack on that B pawn. That's
this is looking suddenly like it went south for White.
Must be.
That whole B pawn attack looks scary, scary, scary.
All the rooks in the attack.
Yeah. This is not looking.
Oh, ouch!
One check.
Ouch!
Takes F2.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Nice win for the Grandmaster there.
I think he got a little lucky in the last minute there. It was so wild.
What about these Grandmasters getting lucky, Nick? What's that all about?
They get luckier than the normal player. I wonder how that is. And we're going to be following this game now between, should be popping up soon, Grandmaster Alexander Ipatov.
Nick, somebody's like saying they have your book and they can't believe that they're seeing you in real life. Is this real life?
Which book? Likely MCO.
I assume that, yes.
To which Beth Harmon used for fantastic results.
Well, look at this.
Although an earlier edition, I don't think Nick's that old.
Look at this. This is Mongolian genius.
Knight to e4, maybe perpetual check here.
Yeah, or queen to e4 check would be a draw, I'm sure.
And Ipatov is St. Louis University Team A against the University of Missouri women's team.
So that's a nice kind of upset for Black then.
Well, Black is clearly a strong player.
Yeah, but still, I'm assuming Ipatov's the higher rated.
Right.
Yes, this would be an upset. And actually,
when is the 16th edition of MCO coming out?
Yeah, in a while. Maybe a couple years from now.
And actually, with this draw, it appears to me that no, they've already won. So St. Louis has already won the team match. The other 3 games were wins. So if this turns out a draw, it does not hurt them, other than possibly in a tiebreaker. But this will be tough to win, no?
Yeah, I think it's a draw.
This is a draw.
This is a draw, but he's going to try with. Well, no,
with 22
Ipatov has
seconds left.
22
He's going to try to
seconds.
win it.
Here we go with the Grandmaster hijinks again.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know about you all, but I can just imagine being in this situation and my heart just beating so rapidly with the tension of it. Like,
for sure.
This time trouble and against the Grandmaster.
Black has to be careful doesn't play into some losing king and pawn ending or something.
96, and then he can't get in pawn to g6. So, or here.
So we're switching to this game with Rui Feng Li and white.
So Rui Feng Li is white,
He's
right?
black.
Rui Feng
Black.
Li is white?
Rui Feng
black?
is black.
Oh, okay, because black's doing pretty well. So,
Yeah.
so I was confused whether Rui Feng was white or black here.
Yeah, so this matches the expectations, I guess.
Yeah. I don't understand how. Oh, I see. I understand now. Okay. Yeah, I got it. All right.
And
Wow, this is an unusual endgame, isn't it? With both bishops.
Yeah, 4 bishop endgames.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, right?
And then Emilio Cordova from Webster against
It
University
looks
of
like
Toronto.
it's now 3 bishops.
3 bishop ending.
Yeah.
uh,
It looks like one of those bishops is going to stop that pawn. So
Yes.
white appears to be doing well, right?
Well enough to win is the question.
yeah, well enough to win.
Yeah, the bishops seem to be tracking that pawns down pretty well. Yeah, bishop a1. I think this is over. White's going to win. It was still an unusual looking endgame, though, for a second there.
oh, I'm not sure about that.
You don't think White's winning this?
Oh, certainly, but you're going to get bishop b2, like right now, bishop b2.
Yeah,
And,
so that doesn't, but the pawn can't move. The A pawn's stuck. So it doesn't matter, right?
Oh,
No, it should be completely lost, but what's the wrong color rook pawn? So if you would get rid of that e pawn, trade those dark squared bishops, you could get a draw. I guess that's not happening. That's
Yeah,
a
I think
little difficult.
I think White's gonna hold on to the E pawn, is what I think, and not go for the wrong color rook pawn kind of thing.
But it was completely lost. Pawn to f5 made it a kind of complicated.
Can the white king come around to e8 now?
Yeah,
That looks
I
like the
guess
plan.
You have to go pawn to f. Oh, well, that lost the pawn.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now we're just marching our E pawn in.
Yes, that's.
Black made it a little too simple for white. Well, I don't think there was any defense.
Yeah, time for Black to resign. Ah,
And that
there you
is
go.
it. There you go. Nice win by Grandmaster Cordova.
Oh, and this is the one where we're hoping for Black to hang in there and not freak out and just draw.
Oh
Yes.
my God! It's now getting a little complicated.
Yeah, I think White's made some inroads, maybe.
It still should be a draw, but that king is getting bad.
Getting boxed in over there.
Yeah, but come on, Nick, can't we still draw this? Because, like, you can't drive us off of h7, so how are you going to win our pawn? We can just hop our knight around.
I think
Right?
you're right. I think you're right, but
I'm just saying, if I can leave my king on h7, I should
just
be
move the
okay.
knight. Yes.
Just move my knight.
Yeah. There's not enough. You can't checkmate with the king and knight. So. Yeah.
I mean,
all
as
right.
long as I don't like lose my knight, you know. Yeah, I think Black's gonna do it. I like that Black put her king on h7. I like that.
But the white knight needs to come to e5 somehow.
Yeah, maybe that's what White's working on, like king f5, knight, and then the knight getting to e5. Is that what you're thinking?
It'd be a draw, but
Well,
Okay.
looks like White's trying for the knight to e5 idea.
But the king ending would be one, so black has to avoid trading knights.
Right. That's why black's thinking here. She doesn't want to trade knights.
Yes, and doesn't want to move the king and allow king g6, so
Right.
has to move the knight. Okay, so.
Oh, knight f6 to try to drive that king off of h7, huh?
And king
That's
to
annoying.
g6, my God.
Yeah, knight f6 is pretty annoying, and then king g6.
Oh, this is lost.
That's sad.
This is one of
I'm
the last
sad.
games of the round.
I'm very sad about this.
Can we find a draw somehow, some stalemate or something?
Black made a mistake by playing.
Oh, a stalemate might be fun. Let's try to get ourselves stalemated. Like, can we play?
Two pawns is going to be too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we go back. Yeah. Oh no, it is 2 pawns. Oh, this is so sad.
Yes, that's tragic, really.
Well, I guess this is again Grandmaster hijinks.
Yeah. Hey, maybe that can be the theme of your column, Grandmaster Defermian, is Grandmaster hijinks, and just show all these lucky GM wins.
I'm hoping for some upsets.
We got enough material.
We keep hoping. We keep hoping.
And this is the final game of the round, or there's probably one or two other games, but this is it.
Oh wow.
Building up on the.
Could this still be a draw?
I don't think so. I think it's a win now.
But he's not going to blunder.
I mean, it's 2 pawns, and they're even connected. Not fun.
Not easy either, though. Maybe.
Oh, because you're thinking you can sack your knight for the 2 pawns?
Well,
cool.
Sure.
So someone's in the Twitch chat asking, can this be some weird theoretical
It
draw
could
somehow?
be. It could be. It could be. Like knight h8 and knight takes, no, I can't, doesn't work yet. Probably not, I guess.
It's hard to get both pawns with your knight. It's hard to win both of them. That's the problem.
And Ipatov.
Ipatov's gonna win this, unfortunately, for black. Oh man.
It's the last game. It's still some entertainment.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, that's a good move.
Threatening G7 and G8.
King f6 takes away all these squares from black.
Yeah, it's
a nice
harsh move.
Yeah.
Now maybe King f7.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't hold for black.
And Ipatov trying to calculate this out, it seems, because he's under 5 seconds. There we go. Just making sure there's no dirty tricks.
And that seems to be it.
Yeah, no way to stop G8 now, or you're going to lose your knight if you stop G8.
And congratulations, Alexander Ipatov, for St. Louis University Team A, getting a win against the University of Missouri women. And they lost that, it looks like 4-0, but they put up a great fight.
They did. Good round. For the women's team. Yay.
Yeah, fantastic. And the round 2 is in the books. And for everyone in the chat right now, I'm going to put the link for the event link, so you can see all the standings there. If you want to see who's where. Now, mind you, uploading the results, it does take time, because even though we've recorded all the results, we have to double check and verify things. so it takes some time. But we started round 1 and 2 on time, and it gets a little smoother as the event goes. The first round's always the toughest with updates and what have you. So that is round 2, and I have to look, but I didn't notice any huge upsets in terms of teams. But we'll take a look, and I think round 3 we should have some pretty intriguing matchups as the good teams are starting to scrunch up together and
Yeah.
then have to face each other.
And who do you have as your next special guest? Which, by the way, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it. But who do you have next?
Thank you. So for the final round, we're gonna broadcast from 3 p.m. to 3:45 because of a prior event that we have. But we're gonna have WIM Yvette Garcia Morales. She's actually streaming on her own channel in Spanish. Covering
That
the
is so
Pan Am.
cool.
Yeah, so on her channel Jugando Ajedrez, and
Where is she from?
Mexico. So she'll be joining us in
Fantastic.
English, and she's covering select rounds in Spanish. So that'll be cool. So enjoy my voice. Well, that's fantastic. It's funny because like I hear myself and I think it's awful, so I try to keep my talking to a minimum. But I like Paul's voice.
Oh,
He's got that.
don't say that. Got that whining quality to it.
So Alexi, thank you for joining us for this round, and it's always fun to get commentary and perspective from someone who's been a part of this event, so knows the drama and what's at stake and what the players are feeling. So thanks for lending your insights to everything.
Well, again, thanks for having me. I've been a huge fan of Mechanics Twitch for a long time, and I'm always very thrilled and honored when you invite me to join you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
We have fun with it, and we have fun with you, Alexi. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. I guess I will exit out of here and let you say your goodbyes to the rest of the group.
Thank you, Alexi. And
all right. Thank you. Bye, all. I'll be watching you the rest of the rounds.
Thank you, Alexi. That's Dr. Alexi Root from the University of Texas at Dallas. And
an unbiased witness to the event.
So we've had Texas Tech, and now we've had UT Dallas. So everyone, we will be back for the start of round 3 of the 2020-2021 Pan American Intercollegiate Championship. We'll start at 3. We're going to broadcast until about 3:45. And then for the 3 rounds tomorrow and the 3 rounds on Wednesday, we're going to be start to finish, broadcast beginning to end of every round after that. We're going to have more guests coming tomorrow. We're going to have FM Kyron Griffith is going to join us for one of the rounds.
Awesome.
As well as International Master Kostya Kavutsky. So make sure you tune in tomorrow and Wednesday. But we will be back here at 3 p.m. in about 45 minutes for the start of round 3. And until that time, we will put ourselves on break. And all right, guys, we'll see you in about 45 minutes. And go get some coffee. All right, everyone.